The Buddha taught the noble truth to me. I see reality.
Good morning, Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters. Nice to see all of you again early in the morning to join us in this segment, Voices of Blooms. For those who are new, who are logging in the first time, this Voices of Blooms is catered for all the Buddhist songs featuring all the composers or writers and singers of these wonderful Buddhist songs. This morning, we are doing it differently. We are featuring 3 of the wonderful and meaningful songs to remind us of the songs that bring Dhamma to our heart. We would like you to read the lyrics. Let's sing along. Follow the lyrics, follow the emotions, relax your body, relax your mind, and enjoy the songs which will be Cradle in Buddha's Arms, Dhamma Shines in Me, and Ray of Dhamma. Please enjoy the song.
Lord Buddha, you're here today to walk with me. I want to be walking beside you. You showed me the way to happiness. I just want to be with you. You've given me the precious gift of your truth. I promise to protect it with all my heart. And even when things seem to fall apart, I can always make a start. Lord Buddha, I feel safe in your arms. You have cradled me with your Dharma truth. I take refuge in my Lord. Lord Buddha, I'll never want to walk alone. And I know you're always here beside me. I'd rather be walking this path than others. You are here to show me the path you've shown. I walk today with joy. Together with my Lord, I can always be. And even if I don't see you often, you have never left me. Lord Buddha, I take refuge in my Lord. Lord Buddha, I feel safe in your arms. You have cradled me with your Dharma truth. I take refuge in my Lord. I take refuge in my Lord.
The Buddha taught the noble truth to me. I see reality, and with these truths, the middle path I choose. The Dharma shines in me. I'll strive for freedom, for sweet release. In me all craving cease. And so I'm here to share all that I know. The Dharma in us grows. For freedom, for sweet release. In me all craving cease. And so I'm here to share all that I know. The Dharma in us grows. The Dharma that I see, it shines so bright in me.
There is a ray of joy that's in the air, shining brightly as I see, shining gently, surely as ever be, for the eyes that never sleep. From newborn child to trees with falling leaves, from the changes we perceive, showing us the truth in every way, is the law that never sways. What is born will cease to be. What is good will thrive indeed. But to strive beyond the good and bad is the way to sweet relief. Our journey starts when we become aware. The ray of joy is everywhere. For us to learn to love and live to share. For the peace we long to see. What is born will cease to be. What is good will thrive indeed. But to strive beyond the good and bad is the way to sweet relief. Our journey starts when we become aware. The ray of joy is everywhere. For us to learn to love and live to share. For the peace we long to see in you and me. For the peace we long to see in you and me.
Isn't it wonderful, wonderful songs that has been played, that has been composed, that's been sung by many of the wonderful Dhamma Tuta workers. Don't you find the lyrics are very meaningful in all these three songs where you're talking about cradle me with the Dhamma truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. To share all that I know, the Dhamma in us grows. The Dhamma that I see, it shines so brightly in me. Learn to love and peace to share. It's really very wonderful. May the songs bring peace to you and your families. May you feel peaceful and appreciative with your spiritual friends, Kalyana Mittata. May I quote, to err is human. Let us be forgiving to each other. Then we will all have peace in our hearts. That's the end of this segment, Voices of Blooms. Shortly, we will begin the SGBS Sunday Buddha Puja and followed by the Dhamma talk. That's the end. I'll see you again afterwards. Namo Buddhaya. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, good morning, and we see you this Sunday again. Nice that I always notice that many of you have really responded on the comment box, wishing each other. Very good. Please keep it. Let's wish each other again and again. Thank you very much with all the kind wishes. And to those who are logging in for the first time, I'd like to mention is that if you have problem in the clarity of audio and visual, just check on your Wi-Fi. All right. But during this online Buddha Puja service, remember to have a calm mind, even though you are encountering the problem. This is our 34th online Sunday Buddha Puja service, and we organize this weekly online Puja service in order to give an opportunity to Buddhist devotees near and far to continue our Buddhist faith and practices and to learn on the Dhamma. Let us prepare ourselves by sitting comfortably, relax our minds and body. Let go of thinking about the past and future. Let all of us be in the present moment. I shall hand over to the Puja leader, Sister Anne, who will take over from here. Sister Anne, good morning.
Thank you, Brother Chuan. Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Namo Buddhaya. Let us begin our Sunday Buddha Puja. May I invite Brother Chim to make the offerings to the Buddha. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, you may light your candles or oil lamps and make your offerings now. To the other devotees, let us place our palms together in Anjali and have a calm mind. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us together take refuge in the Triple Gem and observe the 5 precepts. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Kame sumiccacara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami. Suramiraya Majjapama Dattana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Imani Pancha Sikkhapadani Samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vichacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati satta deva manussanang Buddho Bhagavati. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipassiko Oppanayiko Pacchatang Veditabo Vinyuhiti. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. Ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. Samicipatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. Yadidang chattari purisa yugani atta purisa pukkala esa bhagavato savaka sangho. Ahuneyo, pahuneyo, dakineyo, anjali karaniyo, anuttarang punyakecang lokasati. Vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbatani supatititang saririka dhatu mahabodhing buddha rupang sakalam sada. Yassa mule nisinova sabbari vijayang aka pato sabbanyutang satta vande tang bodhipadapang. Ime ete mahabodhi lokanattena pujita ahampite namassami bodhi raja namattute. Ganasarapaditena dipena tamadasina tilokadipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang. Ganda sambara yuttena dupena hang sugandina pujaye pujaniyang tang puja bhajana muttamang. Vanna ganda gunopetang Etang kusuma santating pujayami munindassa siripada sararuhe. Pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena metena chahotu mokang. Pupang milayati yata idang me Kayo tatayati vinasabhavang. Adivase no bante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patiganhatu muttamang. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame bante puripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame dhamma sanditika akalika. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame sangha supatipanna anuttara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. This morning, once again, we are very pleased to have Brother Siang with us in our Sunday Puja service. Brother Siang will be giving a Dhamma talk this morning on the importance of Kalyana Mittata, spiritual friendship. Please allow me to introduce Brother Siang. Brother Siang began his former Buddhist education as a student of the Buddhist Institute Sunday Dhamma School in Brickfield at the age of 12. Among his early teachers were the late Venerable Kesri Dhammananda and also Venerable Gunaratana. He joined the BMS youth session at the BMV after completing his tertiary studies and served as a vice chairman and then eventually the chairman. He also served in the ESCO of the parent body, BMSM. Brother Siang was also a former ESCO member of Subang Jaya Buddhist Association, heading the Dhamma subcommittee, and was later appointed as a lay Dhamma advisor of SJBA. Currently, he is the director of Nalanda Institute, the education arm of the Nalanda Buddhist Society. Brother Siang is a striving meditator and active in sharing the Dhamma at various Buddhist centers in Malaysia and Singapore. His talks center around daily practices of the Dhamma and how it transforms one's life. He feels it's important to understand the essential teachings of the Buddha, as it gives Buddhists a strong foundation of knowledge which prevent them from wrong interpretation and wrong practice of the Dhamma. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, if you have any questions regarding this talk, please type your questions in the comment section. We shall post these questions to Brother Siang after the Dhamma talk. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, we are now pleased to invite Brother Siang to deliver the Dhamma talk, Importance of Kalyana Mittata, Spiritual Friendship. Brother Siang.
And sisters, it is indeed very joyous to be here to share Dhamma with you on this wonderful Sunday morning. The sun is shining, and we should be happy for what we are enjoying at the moment, and to be able to focus on the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings, and to learn something from what is being presented to us is indeed a very fortunate event in our lives. There are many Buddhists or those who say that they follow Buddhism who don't have the opportunity to listen to the Buddha's teachings on a regular basis. And there are those who also are very interested, but they have no opportunity, they have no means to actually learn the true teachings of our teacher, the great sage, the Gautama, the Buddha. So today, dear brothers and sisters, as mentioned, my topic is on Kalyana Mittata, which is spiritual friendship. Yeah, it's a noun. Kalyana Mittata. It is the object, which is spiritual friendship. And this is one of the topics in the series which I have called Essentials of Social Harmony. And this is very important. Social harmony among Buddhists is very important in this day and age because due to the problems that are in society, due to the very busy lives that we lead, we don't spend much time reflecting and working on social harmony. So whatever opportunity we can get, we should learn about topics such as these, the Kalyana Mitta, which is the spiritual friend. Kalyana Mittata is spiritual friendship, and why it is important for our community. And it is due to the efforts of the community that we are able to organize and present talks and activities for the wider community. So therefore, to have real spiritual friendship is very important indeed, for the further development of Buddhism. So in my last talk, I discussed loving kindness, and loving kindness is metta in Pali. So we have this word mitta, today, Kalyana Mitta. So mitta is derived from that word metta. So from loving kindness, you get mitta, and mitta means friend. Kalyana Mitta means good spiritual friend. And we must have, if we are going to proceed on our spiritual journey, good spiritual friends to support us to uplift us, to motivate and inspire us, yeah, on this journey. So this topic of friendship in the Dhamma might seem strange to many people who don't really understand the Buddha's teachings. And even those who study the Buddha's teachings, they are very puzzled when in talks such as these, it is mentioned that we need good friends, good companions in the holy life. Because there is always this image that if we want to practice the Buddha's teachings, we have to do it far away from other people so that we can have the peace of mind to learn the Buddha's teachings, yeah, to study it, to reflect upon it, yeah, and to put it into practice. So when we bring up this topic, good companions, good friendship in the holy life, many people are surprised because it goes against their perception and their view, yeah, of what it is to be a Buddhist practitioner, to be a Buddhist monk or a Buddhist nun, to be a Buddhist layman, or to be a Buddhist female lay follower. So when I discuss topics such as these, yeah, they sometimes these people who are not familiar with this aspect of the teaching, they sometimes, yeah, are a bit puzzled. So that's why I consider it very important to now and then remind Buddhists there is this aspect of the teachings that say you must have good friends, you must be good friends to everybody in your community. So let me start by sharing with you this excerpt, yeah, this small section from the Upadda Sutta. And in this sutta, the Buddha and his personal attendant, the Venerable Ananda, yeah, was in a monastery. They had just arrived in the monastery, and they were looking at the great crowd of monks, yeah, that had just come into the monastery. And the Venerable Ananda, yeah, said to the Buddha, he was making his observation, and he saw that all these new monks that had just arrived, they were very friendly towards each other. Yeah, they were very supportive of each other. Yeah, very polite towards each other. So he made this statement to the Buddha. He said, this, yeah, he approached the Buddha and he said, this is half of the holy life, Lord. Admirable friendship, admirable companionship, admirable camaraderie. So he made that statement. And the Buddha listened and corrected the Venerable Ananda. The Buddha said, don't say that, Ananda. Don't say that. Admirable friendship, admirable companionship, admirable camaraderie is actually the whole of the holy life. So therefore, and he went on, when a monk has admirable people as friends, companions, and colleagues, he can be expected to develop and pursue the noble eightfold path. Now, what does that mean? Why did the Buddha even correct the Venerable Ananda, who said, yeah, to have such good friends is half the holy life? But the Buddha said, no, it's not half the holy life. It is actually the whole of the holy life. And this is in direct contrast to what people imagine of the monk's life, to be solitary, yeah, to go into nature, to be alone, and then to be meditating all by himself, or for nuns, yeah, all by herself. This is the common view. But here in the Upadda Sutta, we learn that the Buddha put a lot of emphasis on good friends, good friendship, yeah, to have good companions. And we are going to discuss why is that so? Why is it so important to have all these good friends that support us, yeah, in the pursuit, yeah, of the holy life? And it all starts with right view. Yeah, right view is the first of the factors of the Noble Eightfold Path. And right view means we have to see things in the right way. There are two aspects to this. The first aspect is right view as a mundane perception. That means we practice right view to see things in a very ordinary, worldly way. And as we learn and as we understand and put into practice the Buddha's teachings, there will come a new way of seeing what we have looked at, yeah, in the past. So that right view, yeah, is no longer mundane right view. It becomes supramundane, or a very deep form of right view. So there are two ways to look at what the Buddha said about good friendship and good companionship. So, one aspect is, of course, the mundane. That means we have lots of friends around us. But the other aspect is the deeper spiritual aspects. What do these friends, yeah, do for us? How do these friends support our spiritual journey? Yeah, and how do they encourage us, to walk the Noble Eightfold Path to its rightful conclusion? So, right view is important. Yeah, and please keep this in mind, yeah, as we go along this sharing. Right view actually is based on what I was talking about in the last talk. It is based on loving kindness. Without real loving kindness, without that metta, that relationship between people can never be meaningful. It cannot be nurturing. Yeah, because very often we find that people make friends with us. People get to know us because there is a reason, there is an underlying motive. You get to know people because you want to benefit from that relationship. But when we look at Kalyana Mitta, yeah, it is there is not nothing selfish, yeah, in that kind of relationship. It is only full of loving kindness. And at this point, I would like to share with you a little paragraph from a book called Making Friends on the Buddhist Path by a Westerner, Norman Fisher, yeah, who practices the Zen tradition. And he writes book on Zen practice. And here he talks about spiritual friendship. Allow me to read it for you, this passage. He says, this is the nature of spiritual friendship. It never depends on division or discrimination between people. Love cannot be exclusive. There's true love, yeah, which is metta, loving kindness. It cannot be for one group only, and you don't love other people from other groups. That is not real metta. That is selfish kind of relationship. So he says, love cannot be exclusive. It is boundless, empty, open, and it is free. Yeah, we don't just make the decisions. I will love you and I will not love you. Loving kindness opens the heart, yeah, to everybody in this world. So spiritual friendship is too. Yeah, is also boundless, empty, open, and free. No doubt, this is an ideal. Okay, I mean, many people will laugh at us. How can you practice this? But it is an ideal, yeah, that perhaps we can never completely realize because we still have those unwholesome qualities in us. But as we reduce as we lessen the unwholesome qualities, the flowing of love become more non-discriminatory. That means we don't choose. We are just full of loving kindness to every living being, whether they are from our group, whether they are from our race, whether they are from our country. We just have loving kindness towards them. And not just to human beings, to also animals that we can see. Yeah, we have loving kindness towards animals and perhaps even the unseen beings. And he goes on, but I believe it was what the Buddha had in mind when he thought that there is no element of the past more precious or more important than spiritual friendship. So there's an agreement. This author, Norman Fisher, agrees with the Buddha. Yeah, and we will slowly discuss and slowly investigate this important aspect, which is spiritual friendship based on loving kindness. In the Mangala Sutta, the Buddha also mentioned that if we want to lead a blessed life, the word Mangala means blessing. And many people during that time wanted to understand what blessing was. And sometimes there would be people who say, if you want to be blessed, you must do this ceremony. Yeah, some people wanted to burn their things in the fire. Some people wanted to have water poured on them. And some people were advised to do animal sacrifice in order to get blessings. And when they approached the Buddha, this great discussion on blessings, the people who wanted to know, in fact, it was a Deva who wanted to know. When this Deva approached the Buddha gave a very remarkable, very comprehensive explanation on what blessings are actually all about. And his approach was that blessing doesn't come from the outside. It is not showered onto us from an external agent. Blessings is what we do in order to secure a good life, in order to secure a blessed life. So in one passage, the Buddha said this. The first passage, in fact, Asevana cha balanang, pandit nang cha sevana, puja cha pujaniyanang, etang mangala muttamang. Not to associate with the foolish, but to associate with the wise and to honor those worthy of honor. Etang mangala muttamang. This is the greatest, the highest, unrivaled blessing. So when we associate with the wise and we keep away from the foolish, we are making choices as to who can be in our circle, who can be our friends. Because when we mix with the foolish, we can be sure, as I mentioned in the last talk, we will follow the foolish down the foolish path. But when we mix with wise people, we follow them down the wise pathway. And we can benefit from mixing, associating, learning from the wise. So the Mangala Sutta mentions this, and it's very, very important and significant that we understand this passage. In other places within the Buddhist text, for example, in the Anguttara Nikaya, let me go. The Buddha states that he sees no other thing that is so much responsible for the arising of unwholesome qualities in a person as bad friendship. Nothing so helpful for the arising of wholesome qualities as good friendship. That's why it's so important now. If we mix with bad friends, it's a great difference from mixing with good friends. And then the Buddha said, it is through the influence of a good friend that a disciple is led along the Noble Eightfold Path to release from all suffering. So we take into consideration that every person who wants to be a good person, they must be surrounded by good people. Because if you are not surrounded by good people, if you have bad companions, they will encourage you, yeah, to go down this bad pathway and also do bad things. And therefore, because we are not perfect, all those things that are not wholesome will be attractive to us. Therefore, having good friends is like a protection, it's like an umbrella, it's like a spiritual fencing around our house. Yeah, that these good friends actually restrain us, remind us not to do unwholesome things. And if we are spiritual people, if we want to follow the Noble Eightfold Path, if we are surrounded by good friends who know what it is, who know how important it is to walk the Noble Eightfold Path the correct way, yeah, then we will be sure, yeah, that only good things can happen to us. Benefit, spiritual benefits, yeah, will take place in our life. So that's why it's important. Because even as monks, you can say that not all monks, yeah, follow the Noble Eightfold Path totally in their lives. Yeah, there are monks who perhaps they enter the monkhood, the Sangha, yeah, not with the best of intentions. And even in that community of monks, if we don't follow the good monks and if we follow the unwholesome driven monks, then we will not go down, yeah, this good noble eightfold path. So even within the circle of monks, yeah, and nuns, yeah, there is a choice to be made. That means we have to see which are the wise and which are the foolish, as mentioned in the Mangala Sutta. So, what are the qualities of a good friend? Here are 7 qualities that I would like to share with you from the Anguttara Nikaya, Book of Sevens. And here it says, a good friend gives what is hard to give. Sometimes in our life, we have very few things that we would like to share. Yeah, because we want to keep all the good things only for ourselves. But a good friend, knowing that you need things that are difficult for him or her to part with, will still give these things to the friend. So when you realize that your friend is giving to you something that is so precious, not easy, yeah, to give, that one, that person is indeed, yeah, a good friend. And even when the good friend is tired, yeah, and he perhaps have a lot of things to do, and you call up that friend and said, yeah, I need you to take me somewhere, that good friend, yeah, will put aside all his work and all his responsibilities and come and yeah, carry you or take you to wherever you want to go. So in effect, the good friend is giving to you all his or her precious time. So when you realize that, you know this is a good friend indeed. He or she does what is hard to do. Yeah, sometimes the friends, when you ask them, can you do this thing for me? And when the friend thinks, oh, this is going to be messy, yeah, it's going to make me tired, it's going to take up a lot of my energy, they don't come. Yeah, you don't see them appear. Let's say you want to move house, and you send out a WhatsApp, yeah, to all your friends. Please come and help me move house. The really good friend will come. Yeah, those who are not so good will make some excuse. Oh, my back ache. I've got to go to the market or whatever. they will not do what is really good for you. And also, he or she endures what is hard to endure. That means he or she will undergo hard times for the good friend, for the friend, which is us. Yeah, they don't mind sacrificing and undergoing difficulty just for us. He or she reveals his secrets to you. That means they don't hide the difficult things, yeah, from the friends. For example, they might be undergoing some difficulty in their jobs, or they might be retrenched from the job. And so it's a very, very testing time for the friend. But he will share it with you and said, look, I'm undergoing some difficult times. Yeah. So maybe when you ask me to come up with some money, to go out for a nice dinner, I don't think I can do that now. So he explains to you why he or she cannot join you in spending the normal way. Plus, this good friend will also keep your secrets. You yourself, yeah, might have some difficulty, and he doesn't go and spread the secrets to everyone that he knows. Yeah, he doesn't go around saying, I don't want to mix with him. Yeah, he doesn't take me out for teh tarik anymore because he can't even afford a teh tarik. Oh, that is letting out all the secrets. So that is not a good friend. Yeah, a good friend keeps the secrets. He protects you, by keeping quiet. Even sometimes people want to know, hey, tell me, what is, his financial situation? And a good friend will say, no, I don't think I want to tell you that, or I really am not sure. So he protects the friend. Then, when misfortune strike, yeah, and we are going up and down in our lives. When misfortune strike, he doesn't abandon you. He doesn't say goodbye. Now I can't get anything from you. I'm not going to see you anymore. That is not a good friend. And then when you are down and out, he doesn't look down on you. So there are all those people as well.
Sorry, Brother Sanjay. Please unmute your microphone. Thank you. Please unmute your microphone. Thank you. You click to the unmute on the
Oh, okay. Can you hear now?
on. Yes.
Right. Let me go back. Yeah. Oh, I hope you've been hearing. Yeah. But anyway, these are the 7 qualities, yeah, of a good spiritual friend. Yeah, that means a good spiritual friend, yeah, actually looks after us in a spiritual way. Yeah, that means he advises us, and when there are good Dhamma sharing, good Dhamma talks, yeah, the good spiritual friend will tell us the so and so, this monk, this nun, is going to give a very good talk. let us go. And even when you say, look, I don't feel like going, he will come and will say, I will come and fetch you, so that we can listen to the talk together. Yeah, that is a real good spiritual friend. And I am very lucky in that I have good spiritual friends. Yeah, and sometimes when I tend to slack a little bit, not so, shall we say, not so dedicated, yeah, in doing my meditation practice, yeah, my good spiritual friends will remind me, yeah, and encourage me to go for this retreat, go for that retreat. Yeah. So in that way, I am kept on the Noble Eightfold Path because I have good spiritual friends. And so I hope that you will develop the spiritual friendship as well. Now, I would like to share from this famous scholar monk and author, the American monk Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi. He says, good friendship means considerably more than associating with people one finds amiable, likable, and who share one's interests. It means, in effect, seeking out wise companions to whom one can look for guidance and instruction. So that means a person who is more experienced can also be our Kalyana Mitta. If we don't know anything, if we are unsure of anything, we can approach a person who can guide us, who can be our mentor. And mentors are exceptional Kalyana Mittas. So the task of the noble friend, it says here, is not only to provide companionship in treading of the way. The truly wise and compassionate friend is one who, with understanding and sympathy of heart, is ready to criticize, to admonish, yeah, to tell you that you are doing the wrong thing, to point out one's faults, to exhort and encourage, perceiving that the final end of such friendship is growth in the Dhamma. And in one Dhammapada verse, the Buddha said, if one finds a person who points out one's faults and who reproves one, one should follow such a wise and sagacious counselor as one would a guide to hidden treasure. That means don't be disheartened, don't be put off by people who guide you, who tell you about the hard things, yeah, who give you good advice, even though sometimes the advice can hurt you a little bit. Because, dear brothers and sisters, we are full of ego. We think very highly of ourselves. And therefore, when somebody advises us, we immediately think, who are you to advise me? Who are you to tell me what to do? And some people will think, I have been in this Buddhist association longer than you. I know more than you. How can you tell me what to do? I'm older than you, even. So therefore, we should put aside our ego when somebody advises us. This is actually finding a good friend indeed, a mentor, a teacher, a guide. Good friends doesn't mean always on the same level. A good friend is also one who teaches us, who guides us, who tells us what is right and what is wrong. Because there are, I would say in this world, there are not many people who want to tell others what is wrong, what they are doing wrong. In fact, sometimes they rather keep quiet because if you are doing wrong, right, it benefits them. Let's say in a job, if you're doing your work wrong, some people who are not so friendly with you, they allow you to do the thing that is wrong so that the boss will not look kindly upon you. And they will advance because they know what to do. Yeah. So they are not willing to share their understanding, their knowledge, and their expertise with you. So therefore, we have to look upon the person who advises us, who sometimes even it might seem who is scolding us. Yeah, I have been scolded by my teachers, and it was quite a shock, right? And when they scolded me, I didn't like it, to tell you the truth. But after a while, I knew, I understood. It went into me that this is for my own good. Yeah, and therefore, today I am very grateful, yeah, for those people who scolded me, because if not for them, yeah, I wouldn't be in this position to understand the Dhamma, yeah, in the way that I have. It's not saying that I understand the Dhamma completely, but because they showed me the right way, yeah, I am able to find out more things uh, by myself. So this is what the Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi shared in his essay, Association with the Wise. So, dear brothers and sisters, yeah, I have been talking about good companionship in a small or a more private sense. That means friendship to a person, friendship in a small group. Now, I would like to expand the scope of this Kalyana Mittata. That is to understand how Kalyana Mitta, good friendship, opens up to the whole of the community. And this is the whole of the Buddhist community. In the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, which is actually the last sutta that the Buddha delivered in his lifetime, the Buddha knew that he was going to pass away. And because of this, he wanted to tie up all the loose ends in his service to mankind. So he brought up this term called the fourfold assembly, meaning the assembly of the four sections of his dispensation or the sasana. He says the fourfold assembly to be made up of bhikkhu or the monks, to be made up of the bhikkhuni or the nuns, to be made up of the upasaka, the laymen, to upasika, the lay women. So these four make up the fourfold assembly. To some people, they prefer this term, the four assembly. But actually, whatever it is, there are four sections to this. And in this sutta, the Buddha declared that he would not pass away until this fourfold assembly is well established in the learning and practice of Dhamma and proficient in propagating, yeah, the Dhamma. Right? So the Buddha viewed the good companionship of these groups of people in looking at themselves as having one objective, which is to protect, yeah, and disseminate the Buddha's teachings. He knew that he would not be around for a very long time. Yeah, in fact, the Mahaparinibbana Sutta was started a few months before the Buddha passed away. Yeah, and towards the end, he began to give more importance to the understanding of the fourfold assembly. So this formation of the fourfold assembly, Kalyana Mitta, taken to the whole of the community, is very important. It is an integral aspect of the Buddha's mission and forms a distinctive mark of the sasana. Sasana means the dispensation. Yeah, wherever there is the Buddha's teachings, wherever people are practicing the Buddha's teachings, we call it the sasana, the dispensation. of the Buddha is still with us. So every Buddha that appears must have the fourfold assembly, or else that teaching, which is offered by the Buddha, will not last a long time. It will last maybe 1,000 years, and after that, it will start to disappear. But with the fourfold assembly, the monks, the nuns, the lay male followers, the lay female followers, the dispensation, the teachings of the Buddha will last thousands of years. And here, let me share with you this. In the Lakkhana Sutta, this sutta states that the wheel marks, and I've shown a small picture, these wheel marks can be found on the sole. That means on the feet of the Buddha. And it symbolizes that every Buddha will be surrounded by the four assemblies, the fourfold assembly, because it's important to keep the teachings within the world. Because if we don't have that, and we have seen that if one or two are just present or just existing, even then, the dispensation, the teachings, will not continue for a long time. So in this sutta, it is mentioned that some people are unfortunate because they are born in a border country. And what is this border country? It is a country where not all the four assemblies of the Buddha's disciples can be found. That means you don't have four. You might have one, you might have two, maybe even you might have three, but you don't have all four. For example, in 19th century Europe, when the Buddha's teachings was brought from Asia to the West, there was great interest in the Buddha's teachings because the intelligent people found that such teachings freed their minds to understand what they wanted to understand. It also allowed them to have an understanding of the mind and the nature and workings of the mind. So this interest was being supported by a very small group, only a small group of lay people. And after about 50, 60 years, because there was no fourfold assembly, the teachings just kept in the books, no longer discussed, no longer in the heart of the people. So therefore, fourfold assembly is essential to the sustained welfare of the Buddha Sasana. Then the Buddha went on to, he explained, there are two kinds of assemblies. And what are these two kinds of assemblies? The Buddha said, there is the divided assembly and there is the harmonious assembly. Right? There's no doubt we can assemble ourselves. We can form a society, we can form an association. So that can be an assembly. But are they the divided assembly or the harmonious assembly? So the Buddha explained divided assembly. The assembly in which the bhikkhus, not just the bhikkhus, also the lay people, take to arguing and quarreling and fall into disputes, stabbing each other with sharp, piercing words. This is called the divided assembly. And what is the harmonious assembly? It is the assembly in which the bhikkhus and the lay people dwell in concord, harmoniously, without disputes, blending, like milk and water. And they view each other with eyes of affection, with eyes of friendship and love, and metta. This is called the harmonious assembly. And the Buddha said, these bhikkhus, because he wanted to make the monks understand, yeah, that they cannot stay divided. If they really want to do their work, if they wanted to protect the sasana, they cannot have a divided assembly. And I would also say, yeah, my dear friends, that we have seen, yeah, in societies, in places where the assembly is divided, they say no good words to each other. In fact, they want to take each other to court, yeah, in order to gain something. That divided assembly did not last. After they started quarreling and fighting with each other, they just disappeared. No more work, no more Dhamma was seen, yeah, in that place anymore. So the Buddha praised the harmonious assembly, where people talk to each other, where people treated each other with friendship and metta. When people looked upon each other with friendship, yeah, as a Kalyana Mittata, full of metta towards each other. So they were able to live happy lives. The other people were also able to live happy lives. Yeah. And we can see that once, the important leaders who had good loving kindness, yeah, when these important leaders passed away, yeah, that society or that community was not able to last. Yeah, so therefore, it's important to cultivate the right characteristics. So, a stable and harmonious Buddhist society. Yeah, let me share with you what I found out from the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. So, the members of a Buddhist society, and this is how we should develop ourselves. We should be wise. We should be well disciplined. We should be apt. That means able to do things and learned. We should be preservers of the Dhamma. We should live according to the Dhamma as well. And we must live with the appropriate conduct. That means to say, whoever comes into our community have to learn these things. Because eventually, yeah, if the pillars of that society, yeah, go away and new people take over, and they do not know the behavior and the characteristics of a stable and harmonious Buddhist society, that society will no longer treat each other as Kalyana Mitta, and it will slowly, yeah, disintegrate and be weaker and weaker. So it's important that we understand this. Having learned the Master's word, we should be able to expound the Dhamma, preach it, proclaim it, establish it, reveal it, explain it in detail, and make it clear until, yeah, when adverse opinions arise. That means when the wrong thinking arises. The last point, yeah, the next point will come into being. So we should be able to teach the Dhamma, yeah, as members of this harmonious Buddhist society. We should understand it. We should establish it. Do whatever we can to make it strong, good foundations. And when people say the wrong things, learn the wrong things, practice the wrong way, we should be able to, the next point, refute them. Refute them. That means tell them what is right, thoroughly and well, able to give this convincing and liberating Dhamma. So when they go astray, when they are not learning the right thing as Buddhists, if we are, yeah, the apt and learned, it said here, apt and learned, we should go and correct those who are not learning the right way. If they are not following the precepts, if they do not understand the Noble Eightfold Path. And this was happening at one time very, very openly when there were all these bogus monks and bogus nuns. We have to take action, yeah, to make sure that they don't disturb or weaken the reputation of those people who are trying to do the good work, yeah, of a stable and harmonious Buddhist society. So the spirit of Kalyana Mitta that I mentioned right at the beginning is very, very important. It is so important because it emanates, it spreads out to the rest of the community. So it's not just for a group of 3 or 4 friends. It must be for a larger group. It must be for the community as a whole. So, my dear Dhamma friends, yeah, dear brothers and sisters, this is an important consideration for us. Yeah, in that we have to reflect on who we are, the family, and the larger community, and whether it is stable and harmonious or not. And if it is not, what can we do? If it is harmonious, let us sustain it, give it the support to go further and further. So here are some of the my reflections, yeah, on the wider application of Kalyana Mittata. So as Buddhists, we have to work towards a vision. And this vision is we have to protect the Buddha Sasana and make sure it is sustainable for the future, for our younger ones. Because we have seen the way that we have benefited if we have really studied, if we have put in place the pariyati, the patipati, and the pativeda, that is the study, the practice, and the realization, of the Buddha's teachings, it has benefited us. Therefore, we must offer the study, the practice, and the realization to others as well. It's important for our community, for the happiness and benefit, of all beings. We will succeed if we have the genuine spirit of fellowship, which enables us to build strong and stable communities. So this spirit of Kalyana Mittata, is essential, and any challenge can be overcome. We must not just think, oh, I want to practice myself, and that's it. I want to just attain the enlightenment for myself, and that is my sole responsibility. It should also include our good friends. It should also go further as to include the whole of the Buddhist community. So SJBA, I believe, is in a very good position. We should integrate, we should harmonize all our efforts to lay this foundation for the future generations. We must make sure that the foundations are all there, so that all we need to do is just execute the SOP. SOP is such a big word these days. So we must have the foundation and make sure that all the new people who come in know what they are doing for the future of the community. So we must transform ourselves, as I mentioned. What are the qualities a good Buddhist must have? How we must have good relationships with everybody, and how this will carry us forward. So in ending, I would like to share the words of our abbot, Venerable U Nyanarangsi. And he said, in one of his messages, the success of SJBA Vihara depends very much on the merits of members and devotees. Merits are accrued by learning and practicing the Dhamma diligently, with the aim to purify one's own mental conduct, verbal conduct, and physical conduct. And this purification of conduct leads to realization of mundane happiness. We become happier, yeah, because of it. And when we are happy, yeah, as I mentioned last week, we spread it 3 levels, yeah, into the community. Ourselves, the next level, the other friends, yeah, will learn from that friend and go 3 levels in the community. It is actually wonderful. Positive thinking is and happiness is readily absorbed by others to be taken wider and wider. But if we are sad, yeah, and we are grouchy, and we only want to stay within ourselves, that cannot spread. It only stays with us because people don't want to carry, yeah, that message. So Bante Nyanarang says we must have study, we must have practice, and we must have realization. So this pariyati, patipati, and pativeda is essential, yeah, for the good of the Buddhist community. So let me share with you a saying. It goes, if you want to go fast somewhere, go alone. If you want to go far, go together, go with a group. And this is not a Buddhist saying, it is in fact an African proverb. Yeah, we know that if we want to do it our way, we can go alone, yeah, and do a lot. Yeah, but suddenly we see, why am I alone? Where are all my friends? Where are all my Kalyana Mittata? So therefore, this is a journey that we have to walk with others. It is thoroughly, thoroughly very important indeed. So, thank you, dear brothers and sisters. Let us try to foster spiritual friendship, firstly, in our immediate circle, yeah, support each other in the Dhamma, and then let that continue going outwards and outwards, yeah, radiating outwards, yeah, towards the community, so that we can build strong and harmonious communities together. Thank you for your kind attention.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much, Brother Siang for the very interesting, informative, educational, and inspiration Dhamma talk with such good advice on how and what we should do to maintain and promote a stable and harmonious Buddhist society and community. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, we now proceed with the Q&A session. Do you have any questions for Brother Siang Brother Siang, there's a very popular quotation or sayings that no one save us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. The Buddha only show us the way, or others only show us the way. We ourselves must walk the path. That influence many Buddhist practitioners to live a life of solitude, to cultivate themselves. How do we reconcile this with the discourse by the Buddha that you mentioned just now on how to have this good spiritual friendship for us to cultivate the entire spiritual life?
Yes, it's a very popular hymn. By ourselves is evil done, etc., etc. And then it goes on to say, no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. So this reinforces a very popular view that in order to practice the Buddha's teachings, we have to go far away and have a solitude, etc., etc. But it must take into account, that is not wrong, actually. It is not wrong. But we must take into account the Buddha's advice on, first of all, pariyati, patipati, and pativeda. Meaning, as I explained just now, there must be the aspect of study. We must study first. We must understand, widely And deeply, what are these teachings that the Buddha offered to us? And when we understand, then we will put it into practice. And when we put it into practice, we must be, of course, we need to be alone. For example, when we practice meditation, yeah, we need to be in a quiet place. But when we practice metta, when we practice giving, such as giving community service, that cannot be done alone. You know, that must be done with others. So there is the aspect of um, solitude, being alone, and the aspect of contributing to others. You know, I think I explained uh, some time ago that the Buddha in the Vinaya rules, when the Buddha established the Vinaya for the monks and for the nuns, he made a clear ruling that the monks and nuns cannot cook for themselves. That means it is a Vinaya rule. They cannot go and do marketing, yeah, get the pots and pans, start a fire, and then cook, and then they go and eat somewhere in the forest. It is not allowed, yeah, for the fully ordained monks. The samaneras can do this, yeah, because there's no mention samaneras cannot. But the fully ordained bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, they are not allowed. It is expressly said they cannot cook for themselves. So what does that mean? It means that the monks, no matter where they stay, they must come back to the lay community to get their food. The only things that they are allowed, yeah, to gather is water. They can, which is might not be offered to them from the stream, from the rain that is collected in the plants and all that. They can take that water without being offered from the stream, from the rivers. They can also can take, and there are certain fruits such as dates, yeah, that they can pluck, yeah, and they can eat, yeah, without being offered, yeah, because any other thing they cannot use without being offered. That would mean a breaking of the second precept. Yeah, it would be an act of, in fact, stealing. Therefore, what the Buddha actually meant, what the Buddha wanted to establish was that the lay people and the monks have a symbiotic, they support each other. So the monks, they can go into the forest, but they cannot be more than 3 hours away from the lay people. Why do I mention 3 hours? Because they must come in during daybreak. That means during the early morning, the dawn, and the lay people will cook, yeah, the food uh, for the monks and offer it to them, and they must go back to their place of residence where they are staying. Yeah, it should not be too far, because when they walk back, they must sit down and eat their meal before midday. So you make the calculation. Yeah, the journey cannot be 3 hours, more than 3 hours walking into the village and 3 hours walking back from the village. Because if it is too late, they are not allowed to eat their meal. So it must not be more than 3, maybe 4 hours. Yeah. So which means they walk about 3 hours into the village. They walk around, yeah, which could take about 1 hour, yeah, gathering the food, and then they must walk another 3, 4 hours back into the forest. So you can estimate the time needed to go on their arms round. Yeah. So what that means is the lay people have the opportunity, because the monks must come to them for the food. The lay people have an opportunity to ask the monk, where are you staying? Where is your monastery? And if they have any questions, they can go and visit the monastery. If they want to learn the teachings, they can go to the monastery. But if the monk is too far, then the monk, yeah, eventually maybe will say, I am in retreat for 3 months or 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, however long. Yeah, I will be available after this time. So there must be a connection between the monastic community and the lay community. They must not go separate ways. That means to say the lay community will start interpreting the Buddha's teachings away from the monks. And the monks cannot say, I want to only go for enlightenment and not worry or have any concern about the lay community. So, in that way, the Buddha ensured that after many months and years, maybe, of meditating, of practicing, of experiencing the truth of reality, those monks will come back and make themselves available for the lay community to, well, firstly, yeah, offer dana, and secondly, to learn from those monks. And some of them, being suitably inspired by the life of these monks, they might even want to renounce and go off on their own into the forest, yeah, to do their own very, very intensive practice. So you can see, yeah, in that way, the relationship between the Buddha, the Buddha's Sangha and the lay community. We have seen, however, that in certain countries, this practice has changed. But that doesn't mean there is any divorce, any disruption. For example, Mahayana communities, they might stay, yeah, in a place that is full of snow and it's winter. And when it gets so cold, it's very difficult for anyone to go for alms round. Therefore, they must organize food to be cooked, yeah, on their premises, yeah, and they will eat it in the monastery. But very often, that cooking is not done by a monastic. Very often, that cooking is done by a lay person, yeah, who wants to look after the monastery and therefore cooks for these monks during the winter, during the very cold seasons, so that they don't have to go out for their alms round. And anyway, the in the Mahayana countries, the monks actually don't go for the alms round anymore. And even in many Theravada countries, the monks only wait for dana, yeah, to be brought to them so that they can take it before the stipulated time, yeah, when they cannot eat anymore. Right. So yes, it's true, yeah, that there is this requirement of intensive retreat, yeah, to be on their own, and the monks will go deep into the forest, sometimes 3 or 4 hours away, but they have to make sure that they can walk into the village, even though it's 3-4 hours, yeah, away. And if they are wandering around, yeah, there are times when they are too far from the village. Yeah, it's too far for them. They might not know where is the next village. So the only things that they can drink is the river water, the stream water, and certain things like dates, yeah, and berries that they can find. There is no other food available for these monks. Yeah, but it's important. You can see under the Thai forest tradition, after they have finished their solitary practice, those monks will be available. They will come back to the villages, to the towns, to the cities, yeah, so that the lay people, yeah, can learn from them, can learn from their direct experience. from what they have personally seen, yeah, of the Buddha's Dhamma, yeah, by themselves. And that, yeah, because they can explain it from a personal point of view, inspire the lay people, yeah, to study and practice even more the Buddha's teachings. Yes, Brother Chim.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Siang Chai, for the very good and very profound answers on when we uh, should be alone and when we should be in a community with Kalyana Mitra. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Next question. Yeah, from Sister Chye Tan. Thank you, Brother Siang Chai, to cultivate the good spiritual friends for children. What are the ways apart from the positive family upbringing values?
Well, we can, for example, like in the Sunday Dhamma school, we can organize the formal teachings in classes and explain to them what are the good spiritual values. And also, we can make them take part in the good spiritual values, like, for example, visiting an old folks' home or visiting the orphanages, and doing good work, giving offer food, offer gifts to these people. And also, it is a good idea to visit sick people. Of course, the children must be very careful. They don't get the diseases from them. But when you visit sick people, they will also begin to understand, yeah, that life is not how they are enjoying it. Because children, they enjoy life a lot. They seldom get sick. But when they visit other sick children, for example, in the hospital, where some children, they, it is not a communicable disease. There are children suffering from cancer, leukemia, and this type of diseases. When they go and comfort, talk to them, yeah, this play with them, because sometimes the sick children, they have energy to play and they like to play, yeah, with others. You get a feeling of, contributing, sharing. You are able to comfort others also. So this kind of sharing is actually dana. So you have to, I think it's very good to teach the children about dana. Yeah, the sharing what we have with other less fortunate people. Yeah, and in that way, they can keep up the practice of dana even after they have left the family, yeah, started their own family. They have to teach their own children. But the important aspect is why you are doing it. Don't just do it. You have to explain to the children why you are doing this. So visit the old folks' home, yeah, to see that there are also old people who are not so fortunate, the unfortunate children, the orphanage, that the parents, can no longer look after them, so they put them in these homes. So when we also do like recycling, we have to explain to the children why it's important to recycle, why we have to protect our planet for the good of the future generations. Tell them it's for the children's children and the children's children that we are doing things like recycling, yeah, and protect the environment, etc., etc. And when there are news of the natural calamities, the climate change, then we inform them. If we don't look after our planet, if we don't look after the earth, this is what happens. So there is the effort of explaining to them. Don't just tell them do it. Yeah, we have to understand it ourselves and then share it with our children. Yeah, in order to open up their eyes, is that this world is not rosy, not easy to live in. Yeah. then they will understand and they will become kinder, yeah, because of it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Brother Sang Chai. I think we have one more question. This is the last
Okay.
question. Due to time factor, this is the last question. Brother Sang Chai, if a good friend has been saying negative things on mutual good friends, and after reasoning with this good friend, the hate and jealousy of this good friend in fact grows stronger inside. Would exposing such hate and jealousy towards the targeted good friends be the right thing to do, so that they are aware of the true color of the other good friend?
I don't know. This is a very difficult situation. Yeah, I don't know how to really give the right answer to this. Yeah. We have to explain to the people who are doing this malicious speech, yeah, that it will not help them. We cannot see the benefits of malicious speech. That means wrong speech, yeah, slandering. It is a slandering. But sometimes we see it very often in our leaders. Our own leaders. Sometimes they like to slander each other. But we also know the bad effects. So you can only advise. In this world, we cannot control, we cannot manipulate people, yeah, unless we are very persuasive. Yeah, unless we know what exactly how to twist their way of thinking. But normally, all you can do is tell them this is wrong. You know it's wrong. It's going to lead to some bad results if you keep on doing this. And there are also, what you can do is you can protect the good friends without actually revealing this to them. You can protect them by anticipating what are the bad things that are going to happen, and you prevent the bad things from happening due to this bad person's actions. But I certainly, I really don't know whether you should reveal it or not. Perhaps you should get the two sides together and talk it out. That's I can advise that. Okay. Mhm. Okay, Brother Jim.
Okay, thank you, Brother Sang Chai. I think this question the brother sister Mary was referring to about a good friend is certainly not a Kalyana Mitra that Brother Sang Chai is
Yes.
talking about. Good in the mundane sense, but
Mm,
not so good from the aspect of Kalyana Mitra.
yes. Yes.
Sang Chai, yeah. Anyway, thank you so much, Brother Sang Chai, for the very interesting, informative, and very educational, inspirational, insightful Dhamma talk, and also the very good and profound answers to our questions. I think after this talk, the take-home value is that we can know how to look for good spiritual friends, good Kalyana Mitra, and also how ourselves can be a better spiritual friend to others. Thank you, and Brother Sang Chai.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we need it. We need it for the welfare of the community.
Yeah, thank you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Brother Tan Sang Chai, for the Dhamma sharing. The importance of Kalyana Mittata, spiritual friendship. Let us continue to build strong and harmonious relationship with each other in the community, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. This morning we have participated in the Sunday's Buddha Puja service, listening to the enlightening Dhamma sharing and deeper understanding with the Q&A. With the merits accrued, let us share and transferring the merits to all our living and departed relatives, families and friends, and all beings. Transference of merits. Akasata cha Bummata Devanaga Mahediga Punyam tang anumoditva Chirang rakantu loka sasanang Chirang rakantu desanang Chirang rakantu mang parang. Etavata amhehi sambadang punya sambadang sabbe deva sabbe satta sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imang no punya bagang Mata pitunancha acharyanancha sabba satanancha sabba mitanancha sabba nyatinancha sabba pedanancha sabba devatanancha bhajema. Imam no punya bagang sabba satanang dema sabbe sata sukita hontu. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu. Yava nibbana patiya. Idang me punyang asavakaya vahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbanasa pacayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, before we end, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. Sukhi Hontu. To all devotees, thank you very much for participating. We continue to welcome those who are participating within and outside, near and far of Malaysia. Please help me to thank the speaker, Brother Tan Sang Chye, the organizing team. We have come to the end of this 34th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. Please refer to the Facebook of your society for information. With the COVID-19 pandemic, we hope you will continue to stay safe, stay home. May you and your family be safe, well, happy, and peaceful always. Sukhi Hontu, goodbye. Sabbe Sata Sukita Hontu.
Bahong sahan sayudantang ngirimi kelang uditegora sasene marang dana di Dhamma